technology. In one sentence, I think the GenAI that we know today, it might be very different than GenAI of tomorrow.
Lovely. Over to you, Dr. Amit.
Yeah, absolutely. The advent of GenAI marks a dramatic leap forward in the realm of automation in the industry. So GenAI is here to learn, unlearn, and grow itself than any human intervention going forward.
Super. Ankit?
Yeah, so GenAI has led to a very different emotions in different people, right? Some people are feared, some are excited. For me, it's a huge productivity boost, right? At the end, it adds a lot of value to what I do, and reduces and shrinks the time, to I think 1/10 of the time I used to do things, right? So that's for me.
I think interesting ideas. So let's dive a little deeper, since each one of you are working in Gen AI within your enterprises. So Rajani, if we could start with you. So can we understand how you are using Gen AI in your enterprise, and what are the benefits and alerts that you are taking care of?
So Priya, I don't think so any organization is not doing anything around GenAI, right? It's basically, almost everybody is trying to see how they can become the pioneer in adopting GenAI technologies. I think I haven't seen any technology getting adopted, not just by consumers, but also by organizations, so fast. So from my, AB and Bev perspective, of course, we are trying GenAI technology on multiple aspects in a very smaller scope, I would say at this point, because we really want to understand what are those use cases which are going to balance out or even outperform the efficiency and cost mechanism for us, right? The three major broader use cases that we are trying to, try GenAI technologies on is number one on, reporting and insights. Every organization has thousands and thousands of reports used by business users. Few are, getting updated every day. Few get updated, monthly with different frequency. And then you expect the business user to actually go, log in, look at the insights, and then, probably go back and question and all those things, right? How do you actually optimize that reporting and insights generation process is something that we want to explore through GenAI and see, if we can bring in a little bit of efficiency and also contextualization of insights to the business users. So that's one of the bigger use cases. The second one is, I think, like any other product company, consumer product company, we are trying to see how we can make our marketing ads a little bit more personalized, right? In terms of the messages you want to share, in terms of the colors, the brand, insights that you want to share with the consumer, so that, your adoption or the consumer connection with your product becomes better. Right? So personalization into marketing ads is actually the second part. The third part, and being a lead of data science for global products, I think, which is very, very close to my heart, is code optimization. Okay, so we actually have given Copilot accesses to almost all the engineers, data scientists, these data engineers or MLOps, and they're actually, trying to use this technology to see how we can actually improve code efficiency. It's not about, writing, just stating a sentence and then there'll be a code automatically available. But this is mostly used to see how we can write more optimized code, more scalable code, and code where, it's mostly bug-free, right? So you have automatic unit tests, so you can take your development code to deployment in a very, very short period of time, right? So mostly focused on personalization, mostly focused on improving efficiency, and trying to see if you can create more contextual insight is what, we mostly focus on from GenAI side.
Super. I'll come back to you on a question later on about the code optimization, but 3 great use cases. And with the Gen AI type of thing where personalization is not just with colors, it's also could be the voice and could be the videos that will make it, I think, simply superb for a consumer market. So really exciting to see how this will pan out. Same question to you, Dr. Amit. So how do you see Gen AI being used in your workspace?
Perfect. Thanks, Priya, for asking that. And fantastic insights from Rajani on the products where Gen AI can be aligned. We coming from the services industry, the use cases are more specific from the service segments. So from the perspective of Gen AI, the largest utilization today is into the customer service. To the kind of bots we have been created to null down L0, L1 support in aviation industry, in telecom industry, in retail industry has been phenomenal. Adding to that was the analytics part. So when it comes to selling a service or selling a product, probably the automated campaigns of marketing from the services in the retail segment to do predictive analytics and then automatically create or combine the customized offers, which Rajni just spoke about personalization. So somebody who is spending on movies gets a co-branded PVR credit card offer, and that all combined in a Gen AI segments where there is no human intervention who is deciding what to sell and what not to sell. That is a phenomenal exercise which we have done. And from the education sector, on adopting, we all know, and of course, nasscom is a fantastic platform for learning with FutureSkills Prime, but learning is available across with FutureSkills Prime, Google, YouTube, and whatnot. There are many sources. But the real challenge which we have seen in the people and the industries is, are they really able to apply and use what they have learned? And that's where AI-based Gen AI techniques are creating these symposiums, are creating these environments where application has been made easy with the different case studies. So in earlier days, probably when I used to study, my teachers have to create a problem statement and give us to resolve. Today, Gen AI is equipped enough to create its own problem statement and give it to all the learners to have all case studies. And that is the kind of changes which are happening, and we are implementing with the use of Gen AI on the experience in the education industry, aviation industry, and retail industry from the services part of it. So these are a few areas where we can certainly look out a phenomenal change going forward.
Excellent, excellent, Dr. Amit, especially in the edtech industry where you're talking about, if imagine creating so many problems and getting a workable solution for it, it's going to be very, very time intensive. And if you're going to capitalize on Gen AI's thing for efficiency, nothing like it. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And the kind of things that we hear from Khan Academy in terms of how they are doing it in the ed sector is so wonderful, right? They don't give you the way you can do the Gen AI, you don't need to give the answer immediately. You make the learner think, take the person step by step, and then finally make sure the learner understands the concept. Simply superb.
So it's not only about technical aspects, but aligning the psychometric aspects or thought process of a learner also with the help of Gen AI, which basically increases not only efficiency, but also accuracy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. Over to you, Ankit.
Yeah, so I think great point from Rajni and Dr. Amit. So let me give a perspective of industry, right? How industry is using it, and I will probably take one persona and go deep. Right? So industries like pharma, okay, life science, biotechnology. The top use case of this is drug discovery. Right? Now, what they are doing is they're basically shortening the time of which was done manually through Gen AI. Right? Similarly, there are prospects coming that it will lead to personalized medicine care also. Still not FDA approved, but again, I think tests and various simulations are going on that. If you come to the gaming industry or the industry of media, e-commerce, a lot of content generation is happening around this, right? So text content, uh, audio, video, images, all of that is getting generated. If you come to banking, GenAI, banking, insurance, e-commerce, fraud detection is one of the biggest use case people are trying it out on. Okay. Now, as I think, we got other comments. Chatbot and virtual assistant or virtual agents are one of the biggest use case across all industry. Every industry is leveraging that to, make its customer experience better. Okay. So that's the industry view. Now, let me take a persona view, right? Again, let me take a marketing persona view. If a marketer who is, probably generating blogs, social content, website, press release, video scripts, all of that, right? And then this can be again categorized in 4 parameters: text generation, image, and probably video generation and audio generation. All of this is made so easily available to a marketer. So earlier the time cycle was at least 1 week or at least few days. Now this is reduced significantly to probably a half day, 1 day time. If someone has to generate a text, at least the first draft, they can immediately generate it. Same goes for image. Image, at least they can have first copy and then they can play with it, right? So I will give you a scenario. There are startups and there are products which are coming out, which basically can help you position your product in different settings, right? I have a probably suppose I have a product which is focused on probably healthcare, right? I can put that image in a way which can be taken and put on a Himalaya or on a beach, right? Within no time. And then the marketers or the content generators can play with that, right? Instead of going for a shoot, doing all that whole process, they reduce that time. Now take it to next level, right? So this is again 2D, right? There is a lot of work happening on 3D content generation. There are companies, there are products getting developed which basically can take your photos of all side and convert that into a 3D content, which again can be used for customer experience enhancement or even a 3D model. So a lot of good prospects which I see which is emerging from GenAI. So that's what my view is. Yeah.
Super, super, Ankit. And I'm going to have the next question start with you because Ankit is actually leading the work for the India government in terms of what should be the AI skilling that India should go after. What are the projects that we need to invest on and stuff like that. So the next question, I'll start with you, Ankit. So what are the skills that are required? This is like everybody says it's so useful, so important. I'm sure we don't have them ready. So what are the skills that are required and how soon can we get them ready?
Yeah, great question. I think, okay, so again, from the skill perspective, right, when we see India at large, so, India got a massive 1.5 billion, society. We need massive infusion of skills. And if I see at large, I think what we are thinking, what government is thinking is at 3 levels. One is few, second is many, and third is basically all, right? So few are the, developers and data scientists and data architects who basically, can lead the way. So the number what we are thinking, we need at least, 1 million of them readily available, which can handle the, the work, the innovation which is happening. That's a focused few, which are definitely, having, which are super user, super developer, super, inventors in this. Again, there can be segregation. You can have, top ones as very hardcore researchers who are doing novel development. And then you have, your data scientists, architects, then you have coders, all of that, right? So that's the few bucket. The next angle of the pyramid is many. Now, all this, new tools getting generated, which is domain oriented, that has to be in those domains, right? So, like I said, marketer who is enabled to use this new Gen AI tools in their domain, right? Again, if you take a sort of an angle of a manufacturer who is doing 3D printing, he should be also having that skills to develop 3D models for his 3D manufacturing or additive manufacturing processes, right? So again, I think that's the next layer, and we are thinking we should have at least 20 to 30 million of that, right? So that we can lead the way. Then the next comes is, the all, right? Few, many, all. All is again a larger base, which is, AI-enabled citizens. If you would have heard app like Jugalbandi was an app which Government of India came out with some of the, private players. Now that app is given to an agriculturist or a farmer who can talk in his language, understand, how that app works, and basically not understand, basically just talk to it and get an input, right? So like some of the concerns or some of the points he want to ask, which he would have to go to officer or would have to go to certain groups to get that, he can just get it on an app, right? Now he has to be able to use that app in a trustworthy and safe way, right? So that's a 1 billion layer what we are thinking. So if you see the pyramid, we want to be inclusive, start from definitely the focused ones to many, and then to the larger Indian citizen base, right? So that's the pyramid. That's what we need for India. Now, coming to a sort of a different view. So what I think for our industry, right, the AI industry or the tech industry, I think again a lot of jobs will transform. A lot of jobs will change its format, and a lot of new jobs will emerge, right? And skills will be required for both, right? So definitely prompt engineering is one skill. I think like Google search everyone has. We all should learn that, right? Definitely, if you go AI specific, we'll need skills on ethicists. Okay, we'll need AI ethicists. We'll need in AI/ML engineers who are focused and who can understand GenAI and discriminative AI. At the same time, can also use that and deploy in production. Who can have skills on FMOps, which is an extension of MLOps, right? Again, there might be a lot of skills required from the domain expertise. So you will need either AI/ML or automation analyst who understands domain and intersection of AI, right? So a lot of possibilities there. Again, as we discussed, I think the coding, the traditional way or the normal way of coding will be augmented with GenAI to a large extent, and people will leverage from that, and they will be able to create applications and tools far more faster than how they used to do it. So, so I think these are the trends, or these are thoughts what I see. Yeah.
Great points. I think this looking at the Gen AI knowledge across the country as few, many, all gives us a very clear direction in terms of what are the skills that we need to try to impart for that particular audience. So it's fantastic. And I think I'll come back on your ethicist role and all that stuff as we go by. So the same question to you, Rajni, what are the skills that you see are really necessary to survive and thrive in Gen AI world?
Yeah, I'm so excited to share my thoughts on this question. I've been working on designing career path for a lot of engineers and data scientists, and this question always excites me, that what next. Every data scientist, every technology person will come and ask you, hey, I did 7 courses, 3 I'm expert in, what next? Now given this Gen AI technology, everyone is coming and asking the same question. What kind of roles do you think, or what kind of courses that you think that I should take? If I have to summarize this, Priya, from my side, and this is what I share with all the people, is there are 3 key roles. Number 1 is conversational expert. These are the people who are great at problem solving, and they have amazing business acumen, and they know how to work with the Gen AI technology. It's like, we used to say that not everybody knows how to do a proper Google search. If you know how to do a proper Google search, you'll actually get to the answer very fast. It's something similar. The conversational expert will know what is the business context, will know the type of problem that you are looking to solve, right? And will have enough creativity to utilize Gen AI technology in a much wider way. Second is, we have ML engineers, we have AI engineers, which are more, NLP and video, processing experts. We will have Gen AI engineers. How do you process Gen AI required input data, which can be combination of images, of video, of voice, and how to actually train model, fine tune model. So there'll be like proper Gen AI engineers. So, Gen AI
Would they kind of be like the prompt engineer, or
yes,
that's it?
Yes, they'll be very similar to prompt engineer, but at the same time, they will know how to fine tune the model, right? How do you fine tune or make your LLM model more contextual to the problem that you're looking at, right? So prompt engineer are one part of Gen AI engineer, right? The third one, which is going to be very, very critical and important in terms of role, is, DevOps evolved into MLOps, and it will evolve into Gen AI ops. Even today, a lot of organizations, they don't know how they're going to deploy the Gen AI technology, right? Because it has to do with a lot of real data processing. It has to do with fine tuning of some of these complex model. It has to do with the right tech stack. It has to do with serving the information to the end consumer at the right time, and then getting the feedback again into your Gen AI model, right? So some of these LLM models, since they are so complex, deploying those models is a very, very complex task. So I think the third key skill is going to be the Gen AI ops skill, which will be about deploying these models in the right context, in the right tech stack, with the right infra.
Superb. I like Gen AI ops. It's a nice terminology. Over to you, Dr. Amit.
Sure. Probably as rightly said by Ankit and Rajni, probably I would want to give a broader perspective on the skills. So, of course, when we speak about technology, Rajni summed up well that we would be having exclusive profiles. It doesn't mean that these roles does not exist. See, ultimately, when you say conversational experts, this could be your current content writers or designers converting to conversational experts. So what we need to work out and define it appropriately, that the job roles are changing, requirement or people are there. So the first and the most important skill which every individual should focus on, inquisitiveness to learn and explore what's coming our way. Because if that roadblocker is not there on how this will work or what I should do, I am expert at this and I don't want to go ahead. That mind block as a human would always be a challenge. So in this emerging world of Gen AI, Meta, and whatnot, the first important skill is openness and adopt with inquisitiveness on what is coming and learn around it. Now, moving towards the technical part of it, where we build careers, where we train people, where the students get certified, and job-oriented programs aligned with these segments, we need to understand that whether it's MLOps, whether it's DevOps, whether it's Gen AI Ops, what we were just speaking about, it has to be categorized domain-wise. So we would need a technical expert, we would need a domain expert, and we would need somebody who has visionary of whatever product and that services, or alignment, a futuristic approach which will evaluate the entire journey. So, and then probably technologies, pipelines, AWS or whatever will come into the picture. But from the strategic perspective, while adopting any AI, it is very important that we work on three aspects. One, certainly AI. Second, certainly correct data. And third, certainly cloud or infrastructure where it is going to work out. And all three will transact with domain expertise and technology expertise, which should align with each other to achieve a goal. And that goal is probably from the industry or leadership or vision of the organization or nation has to be equipped and worked out with.
Wonderful. And I think it's such a positive information, Dr. Amit, because I think you said like content writer is what they're called today. And tomorrow they would be called conversational experts.
Yeah.
That is, I think, very important for people to be feeling reassured that I'm not going to lose my job, because there's this famous person, I think Imad Mushtaq, I'm sure all of you are aware of him. He gave a statement saying another 5 years from now, India is not going to be having any services industry because none of them are going to have their job. But the way we are talking is not that. So I just want you all to let us know, let the viewers know that maybe they have certain skills today, and what are the things that they could easily pick up so that they become beneficial in the Gen AI world. It's open. I think whoever wants to start first can start.
I think on this, Priya, I want to quote an analysis. Gartner recently gave an analytics review for India. There are 135 or 36 job roles which will get redundant or vanish with the emerging tech space which is coming. But at the same time, they also said there are 193 new job roles which are coming into the picture. So we are still positive.
Absolutely.
Positive side.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's people who need to understand how to transform their job roles. Probably it is not the era of probably having a government job and staying there for 40 years. It is the era of changing and learning new things every day, every minute. The way it is coming and taking that positive will make a change.
Yeah, in fact, when GenAI, a lot of talks about GenAI, our President Devjani, she said, there was so much of motivation from her to everybody of us to, understand this. What is this all about? We need to know about it. So that was the spirit. Another 2 weeks, it followed saying that, yes, this is all great technology, but please beware. Like, you need to be sure of cross-checking the data. There are chances of incorrect data that may come out because of various reasons, training of data or whatever it is. So what is all your take? And we heard the role ethicist AI and maybe a responsible AI and all that stuff. So now we're going to be using this very, very extensively. So how do we ensure that ethics are followed and what we deliver is a responsible solution? Anybody can start.
Probably let me go first, right? So I think, Priya, nasscom and responsible AI hub, that is the team which I lead. We came out with the first of its kind guidance.
Ankit, voice is not coming very clearly. Is it only for me? Is Ankit's voice a little slurry?
Yes, it was breaking up a bit.
Is it better now? Is it okay?
Slightly better.
Slightly better. Okay. Let me probably be near. I don't know what's the problem. But
this is good.
So as you know, this is good. Okay. Priya, as you know that we, nasscom, took an initiative and basically, worked with 30 of the different enterprises and came out with the first of its kind guidance document, responsible AI guidance document at GenAI, right? Now, that was first of its kind initiative by anyone in the world, right? These are normative guidance, but again, let me go through them and what is required after that. I will just probably give a view. So again, there are, we see there are 3 personas. Okay. First persona is a researcher, right? Now, researcher, when he's doing novel research, he has to think through, what are the potential harms that research can cause, and what are the, obligations he has to follow to, be, responsible. Same goes for developer, right? So when a developer is developing using, either open or closed models and creating applications, now that again has to be viewed from 2 lenses. That is, what is the harm and what is the obligation he has to do. Similarly for the user, right? Now, user could be a super user or could be any individual who is using all of whatever we are doing. Right? So these are the 3 views we should have, and individually when we are applying GenAI to our work, I think we should be putting a lens that harms which can be caused and what are the obligations responsibly we should apply them. That's one view. Now what is required is most of the what has been done is most of the companies are coming with code of ethics. So every company is coming out with their own code of ethics of usage of GenAI. Right now, GenAI definitely, as Rajni and Dr. Amit said, it is percolated to every company, every enterprise. It's a boardroom discussion, right? So every boardroom is discussing whether the current AI emergence of GenAI, will it change my industry, all of that, right? So it is coming from top down and from bottom up also, because every user is using it, right? So they have come out with code of ethics, which definitely has to be followed, right? Now, uh, from the enterprise lens, right? These are the two views which is happening. Now, the third point what I would want to say is, there are two trends which are emerging, right? One is a very, hard trend or hard regulation, which is from the side from EU. Now, EU is coming out with the EU AI Act. Again, it has, sort of risk-based assessment, right? There are four risk groups, and one risk group is foundation models or, generative AI. Now, in that, I think the obligation is we have to announce whether we are using, generative AI tool. If the image is generated using any tool, we have to be transparent and announce, right? And there are other obligations also, but that's a very hard line where you're regulating from the, government side. The other view is, a more cohesive view, which I think India should take, is more on a self-regulation view, right? Where we basically what we do is we work with government. We basically government works with industry and bodies like us and create a sort of a self-regulatory sort of procedure where industry and enterprises are coming together and saying that this is my industry. I'm using GenAI or AI. Now these are the measures I'm taking so that I can be responsible. I can enhance trust in my user, and I can have enough safety so that we take care of that. So I think these are the two things emerging. India definitely will fall in the second one, as I said. Innovation-led self-regulation with between government and industries and bodies like us, right? So I think that's the overall landscape. Priya.
This is fantastic, Ankit. This is fantastic. And so you're saying India is going to go the innovation led by self-regulation. Super.
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Amit, Rajni.
I'm sorry, Dr. Amit, do you?
Go ahead.
Oh, perfect. Priya, I think the risks are real, right? There are biases that everybody's talking about. There are examples that we see that is being shared on social media, on other different handles, which says, "Oh my God, this is so biased. This does not make sense. This actually has a lot of security issues. It can actually impact society in a big way." Everybody knows that there is a huge risk in terms of security, in terms of how this information or adoption will be utilized to attract customers or retain customers. But then the risk of not trying GenAI is much, much higher than risk of trying it and then maybe trying to improve yourself to manage some of these risks in better way. I want to actually give two examples, very similar disruptive technology, blockchain and IoT. It was about 5 to 10 years back, we had blockchain, and even before we talked about IoT. And I remember that even that time there was a concept of, oh my God, what if my financial data is misused in the blockchain, right? Because people were talking about, using blockchain technology in payment system. But technology, ensure that no, we will not take your personal data. Something very similar in terms of IoT. Oh my God, the watch that I'm wearing, it is actually sending my personal data. Okay. But today, if you see, everybody has smartwatch, right? Today, you see crypto as one of the largest market. It's not doing great. I think in 2024, it's gonna, come back again, but people are using crypto a lot, right? So trying GenAI technology, acknowledging the risk of GenAI technology and working towards mitigating risk is the right way of looking at it, right? Because we have seen disruptive technologies, we have seen similar questions of risk, but then as we went along, I think these technologies have found their home And we have also found a place for managing and mitigating the risk. There's one more, my personal prediction that I want to do is, I think the future of GenAI technology, mostly from the risk management perspective, like, every organization today, they have their own analytics practice, data science practice. They will have their own GenAI practice. They're going to have their own LLM models. They're going to have their own ways of fine-tuning the models. They'll have their own GenAI teams, so that managing some of these risks will become easier for them.
I think superbly put together. We cannot avoid technology. We cannot avoid growth, but then handle the risks as we go by. Superbly summarized, superbly summarized. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Amit.
Yeah, as rightly said, see, it is ultimately individual's choice. What industry does and how they want to use that data, probably we as an individual or we as a forum cannot control that, or will not have any say on it. So if I'm here to sell a coffee, I'll think whatever best I can do to sell coffee, whether I have to take your data or do whatever it with. Now, whether to share that data or whether to trust my coffee brand is your choice. So that has to be considered and taken it appropriately. See, technically, every industry will take all possible security measures, whether it's healthcare, whether it's banking, manufacturing, every industry will take all possible security measures to avoid misinterpretation or misuse of data. Having said that, these industries also, we cannot make them accountable for any misuse that happens, because breach is like an accident. Nobody did it intentionally. So it is very important for us as humans to decide what to share and how to share based on our needs. Like probably if Starbucks app is asking for my data to buy a coffee, I'm okay to go at a Madras cafe and pay and get the coffee. I don't want to use app. Choice is yours, because comfort is also yours, and it has to be looked that way.
Only one thing, maybe what they talk about AGI. So that looks a little scary at this point of time, because you're not training. It's going to be learning on its own. And then, so that is probably something. And I think it's a little while off, maybe not too long. Maybe that it may advance very quickly, but that is something that I think I'm sure the researchers are keeping that in mind. And
so on AGI, probably working out, judging emotional quotient, emotional analysis, and then performing actions is something which is being researched in a larger way. Of course, it will take its own time, but yes, things are in progress, and let's wait and watch.
Right, right. So following this question is about what do you think about GenAI and hallucination and all that stuff? It has a bigger propensity to hallucinate. Ankit, do you want to take it?
Yeah. So definitely, let me start. So GenAI or LLMs or foundation models or all of that, right, has a big propensity for hallucination, because essentially what is it doing, right? We have to understand. It is a token generator, right? So whatever, data is there as a corpus, which is, arranged in a form of vectors, which is probability of what word can come after a sequence, right? So it's generating tokens. So it's basically what data you have, what corpus of data you have, based on that, it will generate your next word, right? It doesn't understand the context in a humanly way, right? It doesn't understand the emotions and all that, right? So it's generating token based on the input data and probability it has, right? So what it does is, based on a sentence or line or para, it will give you next tokens, next words that is generated. Now that could be correct, that could be hallucinated. All of that is quite possible, right? So that's the reason I think we can never trust right now, at least right now, the content which is getting generated from various, models, right? We need to have a human in the loop or expert in the loop, right? And that's an opportunity, right? So where humans and experts can come in, validate that data or probably the input, or sorry, the output is getting generated, and basically fine tune that, and then sort of utilize it, right? So essentially that's what is happening. So you cannot trust what is getting generated from the Gen AI models because it is just predicting the next word, right, or token. Right? So that's the simple answer, Priya. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, Priya, I want to just add to what Ankit said. Most debated LLM, shortcomings. Even Meta says they're going to build something which will understand a larger context, right? So this is about understanding the context, right? So the current OpenAI LLM or larger LLM, they are self-attention model, right? Self-attention means I am going to predict this word just based on what was the previous word. I don't care what you said earlier, but just the previous word will help me understand what I'm going to say now. So in a simple example, I'm sorry, it's a little weird example, but this is exactly how ChatGPT or other LLM model works. So if you say, I love eating chocolates, if you say, I love dogs. Now, if you ask your GenAI to maybe predict, it can actually say, if you say, I love, GenAI has two options, like eating chocolate and dog. So GenAI can very well, and if there are a lot of training data where some of these things, are coming in similar probability, it can very well say, I love eating dogs, right? Because it's coming in the same word in the similar, sequence, right? But then I love eating dog is not, you don't talk about it, right? So this is a shortcoming. And I think, as I said, when I started saying that, today's GenAI might be very, very different than the GenAI of tomorrow. I think this is where you will see a lot of people doing a lot of research to make some of these LLM models more contextual, right? Not just learning from the previous word, but also going and trying to understand the context. Now, one way of managing this shortcoming, Priya, is prompt engineering, right? So prompt engineering is about giving a little bit more context, giving the right information, or telling, LLM that, hey, I'm not looking for this, I'm actually looking for this. My context is this, my user is this is what I want you to focus on, can actually help you reduce hallucination. So you can't avoid it. You can very well use prompt engineering, or you can fine tune your model. But then in future, I think in near future, there will be LLM models which are less hallucinating, and we can trust those models better. But at any point, as Ankit mentioned, you will always need human assistance, right? So every model that you create, you would always want a human to verify and then get to the final level.
Perfect. Dr. Amit?
Okay. So it's more around human-centric and human-driven than AI-centric and AI-driven. It is humans who are going to drive the AI. So it has to be looked and adopted that.
Very nicely put. Very nicely put. Human-centric and human-driven. I think more and more, probably the self-regulation which Ankit was talking about, if the models can be in a way such that they are explaining why they arrived at that situation, why they arrived at that decision, they say explainable AI, then I think you will start believing, or at least you can, as the human, can look at what it went under, what path did it take to analyze to come up with that particular answer, and they may not say I love eating dogs at that time.
every response which is given by Gen AI, or the largest Gen AI today who has evolved, ChatGPT, also needs a human touch. Whatever response you get, whether it's an email, whether it's a content, whether it's a blog, whatever you're using,
correct,
it requires your intelligence, because nobody apart from you knows your industry and your intention to create that content. So it's very important that even if you get it half-baked or 90% baked, that 10% flavor has to come from you.
Absolutely. I think this conversation is going so well, but we are almost nearing the closure. And I see there are almost 19 questions in Q&A and 7 in chat. But I just want one question, just a quick, like a rapid fire thing. Like what is like A, B, C, D skills I need to have to get started with GenAI? Really rapid fire, because I have lots of question and answers.
So
what is the ABCD skill I need to have to get started with GenAI, to start a career in GenAI?
Yeah, so from the technology perspective, yes, I would recommend to start with the fundamentals of emerging programming techniques, starting from probably Python, thought process of the analytics, understanding the concepts of statistical AI models, which will create a foundation, and then probably jumping into tools. And then probably we'll come with whether to use a Microsoft cognitive services or AWS or any other components or tools which are adopted by the organization.
Good.
We'll go next.
Yeah, Ankit, let's go ahead, please.
Okay. So from two perspectives, if I'm thinking from perspective, if I'm already a data scientist or a person who is working in AI, so what I need? Definitely we need to learn the new the generative AI models, right? GAN models, and there are courses available on that on various forums, right? Again, if you go to US universities, they have online courses also on that and recorded courses also on that. So someone can start from there. Then I think the again from the data science angle, every day this field is so emerging, right? Yesterday, I think I saw a new thing came on RedNet, right? So you have to keep updated and read all the new research work which is happening. Very important. If you're not reading even for a week, you will lose a lot of things, right? So RedNet, 1,000 billion tokens, all of this is just like 1 week back, and it will change what is going to happen, right? So from data science perspective. From the user perspective or someone who wants to sort of leverage it, I think first you have to ascertain what's the use case, right? If you're using it for text work, image work, and then finalize 1 or 2 good tools, and you have to just try it out, because it's more about how you get comfortable with the tool and what sort of prompts you can develop for your own use case, right? So you'll not be able to get the right output at day 1 or probably when you start using. You have to fine tune your prompts in a way that it is effective for you and your purpose. So prompt engineering on different tools is important, and some question was there, right? Which tool we should use for for ABC job. You have to choose 3-4 tools, try it out, use your sort of methodologies for prompt engineering, and devise a prompt which is important and which is effective for you, and then choose that tool. You might have to spend 1 or 2 probably products which is commercial grade. But again, I think that is required because the whole tool arena is emerging so enormously. Every day 10-15 tools are released, right? And all of them are very good. So you'll have to keep on using, reiterating, and then develop your own specific niche in that, right? So that's my view, Priya.
Thank you, Ankit.
I can just quickly add, Priya. I think one of the things is also will be very important is pair programming, where how do you start pair programming with some of the existing code, recommender systems, right? There are a lot of systems, GenAI systems, which recommend codes. So how do you, become comfortable and start working with those code generating technology will also be something very critical.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful discussion. I'm just quickly jumping into the Q&A. And just want to let you all know, I'm sure all of us are seeing the screen. I think we had about 220 plus participants when we started, and we are having 210. So that much is the interest that you all have, kindled in the viewers thing. There are over 90% of the people staying on. So let me quickly take the Q&A. I'm sorry about, if we are not able to answer all the questions, we will probably consolidate, and then Kamna probably can share it with the rest. So let me, I'm just going to pick up some questions in random. So please don't, the people who have asked questions, I'm not biased and all. I'm just picking some question which I see first. Companies like Microsoft released Bing Chat Enterprise for private experience of GenAI for organizations, but novice users or basic users and personnel who have their private data being utilized by these companies knowingly or unknowingly, how impactful will it be in the daily life of users, and tips or suggestions, ma'am? How to use such Gen AI models, ma'am? Any takers?
Yeah, I think just connecting back to what Ankit was saying, not about GenAI technology, any technology in particular, be it any social media, Facebook, anything, even Facebook tells you that do not share your personal data, do not overshare, each of your phases of life, because people can misuse that information, right? From an end user perspective, as and when some of these technologies are emerging, I think we need to be very protective about our personal data and not share. From a producer perspective, which is Microsoft's and Google's and XAI's and everything, they're going to have a very robust system on using some of these personal data. I think if we are protective enough, some of these big giant companies which are building LLM, they will be able to build a proper security system and proper governance so that we don't have to worry about much.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question, I'm just picking again in random. Any advice for a mid-career professional in functional role to transition or prepare for things to come? Any particular courses? Would the mid-aged professional still be treated as a fresher?
Go ahead, Amit. I think you're saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying that mid-age professionals probably carrying some experience can contribute towards domain expertise and should not be considered as a fresher, and industry does not consider it as a fresher into the domain skills. But if you're talking about getting into a tech skills or emerging skills, at that point in time, it is challenging to get a role and work, because that's the area where you would be considered as a fresher. Aligning to the earlier question also, I wanted to contribute and share this information where we need to create appropriate segregation between the technology skills and domain skills, because both has to go hand in hand. Having said that, it is very important that technology and domain are aligned with each other. Now, when they are aligned with each other, that there comes the next hierarchical understanding that you need to differentiate between what is a tool and what is a technology. Gen AI is not a tool. ChatGPT is a tool. Bard is a tool. Prompt engineering is a process of learning how to create tools. So we can consider that into perspective of technology. So this differentiation has to be clear and adopted correctly. Somebody probably these days, people are doing a complete prompt engineering course where they learn how to use ChatGPT cannot be considered as prompt engineers.
Right.
That classification has to be very clear and adopted.
Right. Again, question on the similar lines. What's the difference between prompt engineer and prompt design?
So, prompt engineer is specifically a person who would work on creating or aligning correct algorithms and the outputs which are needed. Prompt design would be from the user perspective on what you want to derive as an output from a created tool.
Yeah, like I think in the like a conversational expert could be the prompt design, whereas a hardcore NLP engineer would be a prompt engineer.
Absolutely.
So there's a question. I think we probably just over time, but I'm just going to take this as we see a major layoff in tech industry, and these current data is also showing their headcount decrease. And then what would be the future of developers, testers? I'm just going to start off this, and I'll let Dr. Amit and all three of you comment on it. As Dr. Amit just said, Gartner has said there are going to be 193 new roles. Maybe the 135 ones existing may change, but there are 193 new roles. So I don't think we need to worry too much. So we can probably answer this and then have this as a closing question.
Adapting to the change is the only solution to this. You need to adapt to the changing environment, whether it's technology, whether it's tool, whether it's learning. So learn, unlearn, practice, execute, and move ahead. That's it. That's the only role an individual has to play today.
So from the AI perspective, if I give you numbers, right, there's a need for 6 lakh plus employees in India, right? That's a need, and we are around 4,16,000, right? This is in India. In US, there's a need for 9 lakh employees for AI professionals, and there's a current supply of 6 lakh something, right? So if you are in AI field, I don't think there's any probably issues coming there. But at the same time, you have to evolve, you have to transform, right? So the discriminative way of modeling definitely has changed with the current generative modeling, right? So you have to learn, you have to be updated. And I think there's no other go than transformation in terms of your own learning, right? So that's very important. Otherwise, if you don't learn, then it's very tough for you to understand what's happening in your projects, in your customer environment, right? So that's what is the important thing. Yeah.
Last words from you, Rajani.
Oh, great. Maybe I'll just add this. Today, from GenAI perspective, a lot of us are in exploratory mode. We will get into execution mode soon. So be ready. We have this time, we need to upskill and we need to be ready.
Superb. I loved this 1 hour spending with you. I think there was so many interesting informations and ideas shared by all of you. I'm sure the people who are listening to this also have a lot to take away and then explore further. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Kamana, for organizing this. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the session.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.